Shalom and hello. My name is Stephen Paul Dunphy, and I'm going to give you a little tiny introduction here, and then we'll take off with our lesson. Okay, a little generic music in the background. Twinkle Star, there you go. All right, get down here to a clear voice. Make sure that you can all hear me out there. Well, I don't pull any punches. Again, my name is Stephen Paul Dunphy, and I'm living in Lancaster, South Carolina with my wife, Deborah. But let me tell you a little bit about myself so that you'll get to know what's going on and what's not going on. You see, in common terms, I'm called the missionary. Scary, isn't it? Well, it depends on how you see it. If they're looking at the guy that just brings food out to somebody, or perhaps even starts churches out there, then yes, he's a missionary, but not necessarily directly by God. He's just doing what the church, the local church wants him to do. Perhaps the denomination wants him to do. Now, here's the real big problem. Real missionaries, there's not such word as that in the Bible. The word missionary means to be sent. Okay, so let's be clear about this. To be sent, right? Now that we know that the word means to be sent, well, that's what apostle means. But you see, you have to look in the history of apostle, not just from the Christian point of view, but from the Jewish point of view, about the ones called like Moses and David. They were directly sent, but with power, signs and wonders. Something that they say these people died off. Well, that's where you have to look into Ephesians chapter 4, where it says that there are apostles, prophets, teachers, and pastors. And if you're going to say they all disappeared, then the pastor has to disappear and the evangelist has to disappear. So, for the sake of a long argument between Ephesians chapter 4 and 1 Corinthians chapter 12, I can say affirmatively there are apostles, but they're kind of called independent missionaries, and they go outside of their culture. Now, I want to get specific to what really is happening here. I didn't choose it, and has nothing to do with me any more than the donkey, way back in biblical times, way back in the Old Testament, was talking. And people say, well, donkeys don't talk. No, normally they don't. But God can do anything he wants. And he had a purpose in that donkey talking. So a lot of similarity here. Hello, folks. Or I speak languages, but I did not learn the languages. And they are real languages. So I'm not going to go to a lot of undue pressure to answer all 30 or more different languages I'm speaking and where they came from. I'm going to concentrate on a language like Hebrew. And I'm going to say that this is an original language spoken by all people before the Tower of Babel, and I'm blessed to have that particular language. Like Misa, precious, Rama, high, Ata, it'll happen, Sima, treasure, Lama, Alat, Alam, a strength, Kala, mercy, Laka, with difficulties, Isha Kalam. Isha is an old name for Yeshua. Yeshua the Hamashiach, the Messiah. Now, given that these things are apostolic, and you can certainly call me up. You can certainly write to me. We're here at Keter Stephen at AOL.com. Kite, Edward, Thomas, Edward, Ralph, Stephen with a PH at AOL. Now, what's so important about this is that you're getting stuff from the metaphysical realm. Now, as we get stuff from the medical physical realm. How do we use God? Well, you see, because the answers to these things always talk about the Bible. They talk about Jesus, and the answers always talk about a very, very great wisdom and understanding, and more than anything else, it talks about love, that high type of family love. So when you translate it, people will say, outside you're friendly, inside this language reveals a much greater love. That's the most important thing. So what I'm trying to say is, now that we have access to that intelligence, do I have ex cathedra? Answer is absolutely not. Because the New Testament says, in prophecy, we know in part, even though prophecy is the testimony of Christ, a flag does not represent all of the nation. It's just a small part. It is the tip of an iceberg, a window in Zion, as it says. So yes, information can be revealed as God would allow it to be revealed. So why doesn't the church? Well, first of all, the church is not apostolic. They don't care about those scriptures because they don't want to hear as a denomination from God, because then they would not be a denomination, because a denomination simply means a name, and there is only one name. Now, don't give me this, I got the name. No, the name is his name. He belongs to it. You can't own that name. You share in that, you have a covenant with it, but you are not the full owner. So we just prophesy in part. Now, but this tremendous ability to get directly into the information system means, yes, I have been able to help government, a certain government, a very powerful government for a long time, and Israel too. I've been able to give them great information. Now, why don't they really want this and advertise it? Of course, it would upset evolution. It would upset science that we have. So maybe this stuff is coming from the devil. Well, bring it on. Let's prove it. Let's put this in a witness stand. We have people, if they can't speak Hebrew, they can use hand, sign, language, nahi, kitchka, woho, or perhaps we could use the deaf and dumb. But why, if I have an access to this spirit man, that they want it? Of course, because it's insulting everything to say it's from heaven. Prove it. Well, maybe it's from hell. Prove it. You know, that's what Elijah did. He said, well, go first. Reminds me of the lady sitting at the bar, you know, and something happened, and he says, oh, that terrible thing happened. Well, he said, I'm sorry. Next time, if I knew that, I would let her go first. And see, that's the whole thing with the Elijah situation. Basically, he says, is your God on the potty there? He says, go first. I don't know what's happening. I mean, I want to present it. If any religion out there can present languages and information and sit, I'm not going to tell you too much about it, but there was a certain guy that had all these languages, and he got off of jury duty. Why? Because he could know ahead of time what the outcome of that jury is. That's a little bit of a problem, you know. See, you can't put Moses on jury duty, because if Moses were on jury duty, he already know the answer, so he would judge according to what God told him. Well, we all hear from God, don't we? Yes. But this is a special gift that allows you to answer a question like, what is in a black hole? Well, easy. Rakad ima kana tala. Chad ilitam betili si chad laida shukoka lamaka badoka. Now, I only got a second grade education in this stuff. If I get my dictionaries, I'm up to an 8th grade level. But there's some of you who could translate that a whole lot better. Give it to authorities. Let them have a good time and find out what's in back of a black hole. Or let's say, hey, was Adam the only man, or did we mixed with other races? Lakad rochut itchi la adsim baliim badihim madoshom adveshim bolochod ad. Yeah, you can just see by the way we're talking over here that obviously we've got a mix going on. But again, get an authority to translate this original Hebrew of 3,000 years ago. It's a real language like Aztec, Nichi, Koto, Kotaki, Chichi. Or perhaps we would recognize Jet was Ibosho. Oh, no, that's not French. It's not supposed to be French. It's supposed to be original Togarmah. That's the legal language. That's the ones the Jews established and gave the language to in pre-Semitic time periods. You see, it was ordained from the beginning and manifested by covenants even before the time of Abraham. Okay, I'm going to let you go here. Very interesting information. Hallelujah. Let's go. This is also inspirational. Nakesiri katalim Torah. Have a great